The McAllisters had lived in Hollow Creek for generations off a winding dirt road far from town, where time seemed to hang heavy in the air. The trees around their land grew tall and dense, as if protecting some secret beneath their roots. The family was close-knit and God-fearing. William, a stern but caring father; Ruth, his quiet, devout wife. And their two children, 6-year-old Miriam and newborn Elias. One minute she was picking wildflowers by the bank, the next gone. When they found her body tangled in the reeds, her face was pale, eyes wide open as though frozen mid-scream. There had been no rain, no currents, and her body hadn't floated downstream. But something changed after Miriam's sudden death. He never cried, not when spanked, not when Ruth tried to feed him. Not even when he was cold or startled. He would just stare unblinking, his eyes far too aware for a child so new. It was late autumn when she drowned in the nearby creek, the same one the family warned children to avoid. He didn't babble, he didn't blink, he only watched. Sometimes at corners, sometimes at mirrors. And always at Ruth. But when he, too, began waking with nosebleeds and nightmares of the creek, he started locking the bedroom door at night, and yet they still heard the cries. The preacher said it was an accident, but Ruth began to whisper otherwise. She was taken, she'd say while staring into the fireplace, her hands wrapped tightly around Elias. Something's not right here. Miriam's not resting. Elias was born just 3 weeks after the funeral. Dust coated the floor. Toys lay untouched. Her nightgown still folded on the bed. And in the middle of the floor, Miriam's old porcelain doll. It had been missing since her burial. From the moment he entered the world, something felt off. On his 3rd night home, Ruth awoke to the baby not in his crib, but sitting upright in the center of the nursery floor. No signs of crawling, just there, staring at the door. But the nights grew stranger. A trail of muddy footprints led from the window to the crib in the nursery. William brushed it off as stress grief making Ruth see things. Elias didn't laugh. Whispers in the wood of the house. She ran down the road with him in her arms, barefoot and bleeding. Just his muddy footprints leading back to the creek. The forest seemed to twist behind her, branches reaching like arms. She collapsed in the field where they used to picnic with Miriam. At first, faint like wind through old boards. Miriam says the water is warm now. She says Mommy is with her. We're a family again. Then louder, clearer, always at night. Part 3. The whispers in the wall and drawing pictures of his sister with black eyes and a gaping mouth. Ruth started hearing things. Why did you let her die? He doesn't belong here. It should have been the boy. At first, William told her to sleep more. Not from Elias, from Miriam. The sound of a little girl crying echoed through the hall softly at first, then louder, desperate, until the very walls vibrated with grief. Ruth tried to follow the sound once, clutching her crucifix and whispering the Lord's Prayer. It led her to the nursery, to Elias. He was smiling. One evening, after weeks of haunting cries and cold whines that moved through a sealed house, William did something he swore he'd never do. He opened Miriam's room. It had been locked since her funeral. Ruth gasped. The doll's dress was soaked with water. That night, they buried the doll again. This time deeper, wrapped in a Bible. The next morning, Ruth found it in the crib cradled in Elias's arms. Ruth broke. She tried to take Elias far from the house, but the truck wouldn't start. And that's where William found her kneeling in a circle of burned grass, Elias in her arms, chanting nonsense and rocking. She whispered, "It's not him, it's her. She's inside him." That night, Ruth disappeared. Years later, William lived alone in the house, never remarried. Elias grew cold, distant, speaking to shadows. Then on Elias's 6th birthday, the same age Miriam was when she died, he vanished. No signs of struggle. Police searched. William aged into a broken man. Only one thing remained behind, a letter in Elias S. handwriting on Miriam S. old stationery. Daddy, I'm sorry I had to go. Don't follow us. You weren't supposed to see what was in me. Love, Elias. Locals say the McAllister house is cursed. No one buys the land. No one walks near Hollow Creek. Some nights, travelers swear they hear a baby laughing and a girl's voice whispering. It should have been the boy, but it's just the wind.